You're listening to the Launchcast, the podcast about leadership, business, life, and growth with me, your host, George Andriopoulos.
It's like food for your ears.
At this time, I'm going to ask that you fasten your seatbelts.
Launch sequence.
Launch sequence activated.
Launch sequence activated.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Woo! Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Launchcast. Episode 205. You know I got goosebumps right here. Man, we have such a crazy show today. So much to cover. And we're doing something nobody has ever done on a podcast before. Wait for it. But first, it's the LaunchDad himself, George Andriopoulos, bringing you your favorite podcast on the planet. It's true. It's damn true. As the beat drops.
Into the black hole.
What is happening, my people? Welcome back to another episode of your favorite podcast and mine, the Launchcast. Today's cool. Right? I love when we could start this show with, hey, today's a different one. That's the canned line. But generally we've done the regular interviews and the soapbox shows. Today was going to be a little bit different than all of that because we are actually going to simulcast the show onto an app that actually broadcasts your voice to others, and we're gonna get into that in a little while. This is how we pivot, right? You know, this show is all about leadership, and I think I have stuck with this road of talking about leadership in terms of people's lives, their journeys, and how they've gotten from where they were to where they are today, which is cool. But I think we need to incorporate a little bit of live leadership, day-to-day leadership. You know, people look to me as a resource for business strategy. It is what I actually do for a living, you know, with my consulting firm. But people look to me for business strategy, business turnaround, you know, and I think that a show like this today, where we can actually talk about different ways to lead within our communities and within our businesses, you know, and be able to show a broad spectrum of that. Something that today, the stuff we're going to be talking about is so new and so fresh that people may not be aware of platforms like the one we're going to talk about. But I think it's important for me to share some of that information. So we're going to be incorporating a little more of that. We'll still keep on the leadership conversation as always, right? That never changes, but hey, leading isn't only about your community and family. You know, we got to get out there. We got to make our money too, right? That's the goal of why we work. I don't want to say it's the goal, but it's definitely a byproduct and a necessary one at that, because we have to support our lives and our families. And so how we lead in our businesses, business strategies, we're going to get into a little bit more of that as the episodes go by. And still, of course, the usual stuff. But yeah, why I'm excited today is, you know, this is, I think this is a first for a podcast, what we're going to be doing with this simulcast today. And so I'm super excited about that. But yeah, man, let's jump in. All right. So right now, this is the part I was talking about during the intro. And this is the crazy stuff right here. We're doing something that has never been done before in podcast history, in the world history. I think I'm making this up, but I'm pretty sure it's true. So don't quote me on this. But man, right now, we are actually going live. We are going live in Clubhouse, the Clubhouse app, which is this totally brand new app. I'm going to talk about it in a little while. It is revolutionizing revolutionizing social media and what it means to be social and bringing voice back to the party. Bringing voice back to the party. That's the important part here. And so basically what you do is you sign up, you have to get invited, which is cool. I love that. But you sign up, you do these little rooms, and these rooms each have topics, right? So I can start a room as a moderator, and these rooms have topics. Today we have one that is let's see here. It's called the Launchcast Live Room. It's called the Launchcast Live Room, and we're going to start it. Here we go. Start your scheduled event. Okay, and now we just have to wait for people to show up. So these rooms, hey, look, we got Matty K here. Let me bring this guy up here. Hold on. Let me bring this guy. Invite to speak. All right, I'm sure I'll edit all this down later. What's up, brother?
Hey, George, how are you? Happy Sunday evening.
Nice
to see you here on Clubhouse.
Yeah, man, you too. So we're doing something totally different today. You hear that I don't have my regular George voice on. I have my LaunchDad voice. So we are actually recording an episode of the Launchcast live here on Clubhouse tonight. So I'm gonna throw this out there. Everybody that speaks has to get this, but I have to throw out there that this is being recorded, and this is gonna go on to episode 205 of the Launchcast called Leader of the Clubhouse. So Matty K is a customer of mine. Matty K travel agent extraordinaire, unbelievable. We got David here. Let me invite him up here too. So what's up, Matty?
Not much, George. No, this is awesome. I've been seeing a lot of success for those who incorporate their Clubhouse into their live podcast. It is just it's crushing the world right now. It is taking it by storm, and it's really successful. And I'm so glad to see that you're doing that tonight, and I'm so glad to be here.
Yeah, this has been such a cool experience. So. This platform, guys, for all of you that don't know, Clubhouse is a really cool platform that, as I mentioned before, it's sort of revolutionizing what it means to be social on social media, right? It's bringing back the voice. You're getting out from behind your keyboard and you are talking to people live in a room. You jump into a room of interest to you, and this room basically has some kind of theme or title, which the moderator sets. You jump in and you could either get invited to speak or moderate, or you could just chill as an audience member and just listen. There are some really, really great, meaningful conversations that happen here in these rooms. From personal development to business development, everything goes on this app. And so, it's a pretty incredible place to be. I'm going to warn everybody right now that there is no way this is going to last forever as it is right now on this platform. It's free and it's amazing. I have 5 potential client meetings set up this week that all came from Clubhouse. It really is such an incredible platform, and it's not going to last forever. So we need to take advantage of it, while we can.
Oh, absolutely. And it's so incredible how fast that this has taken off, and you watch just in such a short period of time how, especially when it's integrated with your Instagram and your LinkedIn, how you can watch your followers and real legitimate followers, not just your fake bot followers that are coming. They're coming to you. I've gained a lot of interest, especially in the travel industry, which has taken such an incredible hit lately. I have gotten business clients from this. I've gotten leisure clients. The big thing going on tonight, I don't know if you saw, but Elon Musk announced that at 10 p.m. Pacific time, he's going to be in a room tonight, and they're talking about how it might crash the Clubhouse servers tonight. So that should be interesting to see how that goes tonight.
Yeah, for sure. I'm excited. I'm just, while you guys are talking, and I want to hear from David too, I'm just sitting here pinging people to come into the room, all of my recent followers, and then we'll get into this, a little bit further. But Dave, what's going on, man? Thanks for jumping in here.
Yeah, no, anytime I see you doing something, I always want to listen and, figure out what's going on. This is a great idea. And, just always looking at it, talking about leadership. I agree. I've found so many different ways to make Clubhouse useful. You get into some rooms that are just, everybody brashing about themselves, and that's when you got to get out. And then there's a lot of value. I really enjoy listening to it, either in the car or anywhere else. And you can pick up little gems, and then you can also share some gems. I've got a lot of people, a lot of followers in the little time that I've been on, just by saying, "Oh wow, we have similarities, and that they like the way that I speak," which is what I want to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I jumped on here, probably got an invite from a buddy of mine in like early December. And so once I took that invite and accepted, I just kind of chilled for a while, creeping around these rooms, checking it out, seeing what it's about. I didn't set my profile up or anything. I just wanted to be sort of anonymous just to get a feel for it. And about 2 weeks ago is when I was like, all right, this is good. This is the real deal. I set up my profile, and I got active with these rooms, and man, it's like you said, there's some great connections that have been coming out of here. So once this room fills up a little bit more, I just pinged a shitload of people. Once the room fills up a little bit more, I definitely want to, start talking about leadership on Clubhouse, how everybody's, leveraging the platform. And this is a little bit of this is a totally different episode of the Launchcast. I don't think anybody's ever actually recorded a podcast episode off of one of these rooms. I will say, I said it to Matty before, Dave, this is being recorded for the podcast. So, of course, you got to know that and give me permission. I guess that's a little message. As soon as this was plugged into my computer, I keep getting this red flashing message that you cannot record people on Clubhouse and put it out there unless you have their permission. So
you have my permission.
Look at that.
Yes, and absolutely, George, you absolutely have my permission to record me at any point in time.
Connections being made. So let me go back to Matty. So, Matty, you're in the travel industry. You have a few different ventures within the travel industry. So for somebody like you jumping on here, and I know you're still getting your feet wet as well on here, what's the plan? Like how can you be of service to others on here? How are you using Clubhouse right now?
Yes, obviously being in the travel industry, having, leisure travel, corporate travel, we do a lot of group incentive, honeymoon, destination weddings. Some of it is just like you said, hearing that personal connection of hearing somebody's voice, of how many times that when you are talking to somebody via text message or email and it comes out completely wrong, it's taken the wrong way. I feel that this has really brought that better connection. It's less than Zoom, but it's a little bit more than email. And how I'm doing it is by going into these rooms. And one of the biggest things that people are looking for ways to do is, especially in the sales world, is incentive. How do I get my team to perform better? How do I get my team to be motivated a little bit more and kind of reset? It's 2021, and it's kind of taboo out there to travel, not to travel. Is it safe? Is it not so safe? But throwing that idea out there is that if these big companies are willing to spend money on whether it's bonuses or employee incentives, one of those great things is travel. We actually connected with a company recently that has partnered with Playa Resorts and is actually sending 5 of their top salespeople to the Dominican Republic on a 14-day work in paradise program. So they were the top performers. They're going to get to go and work, and they still have to work remotely, but they're going to do it from the beautiful warm weather of Cap Cana in the Dominican Republic versus doing it in their homes back in the cold weather of the Northeast. Right. So that's one of the biggest ways that we've been able to, help them grow and just getting that out there. The travel agents are still out there. We're the value, and especially now with everything going on, how we can keep on top of all the rules and the changes.
Yeah, incredible. It's been interesting to see all of these different industries, right, and how people are leveraging Clubhouse in their specific industries. And I'll go to Dave now for a second. I feel like the platform was really built for like the personal development space and business development, right? So Dave, you're in that personal development space with the stuff that you do. How has this been beneficial, to you?
Well, the way it's been beneficial is really like getting to meet people. And there's, I always had thought, well, everybody knows this stuff, but it's not. And there's a lot of people in the personal development space who aren't prepared. They think they know the answers. They just want to hear They want to hear themselves talk. And then there's people who come out with real value, and that's what it is adding that value. So I've been in a couple of rooms, and it's been nice to be acknowledged by some big names, and that's it validates you, but it also then gives you the value. Just showing up even tonight, showing up. I want to add value to your show as always, not just showing up to support a friend. So you can do it both ways, and I think whenever you share value, that's really where you take the platform, and that's like what Matty said before. A text message you really can't hear, and you always hear your own voice. But when you speak, everybody knows how you sound and the energetic. I mean, you've known me long enough that when I get motivated and excited about something, it's not really something that I can hide easily.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. And that's kind of, I was in an interesting room yesterday. And again, this is how these things happen. You just sort of stumble upon them. My last 2 Saturdays, when I've been, I think actually both weeks, both Saturdays, it was like midday Saturday, like 1 or 2 o'clock PM. And both Saturdays I happen to be cleaning during that time. So while I'm cleaning, I just throw my AirPods in, go onto Clubhouse and look for an interesting room. And I saw our buddy, Greg Reed was in a room, and Shannon Parsons and some other people that I've met through Clubhouse. They were all in a room together. So I hop in there. And, I guess I don't know how moderators really filter this stuff out. It's a lot of work to moderate a big room. But, I don't know if they saw my bio and they immediately invite me up to be a speaker and moderator in this room. And it was this really, helpful, important room where they were just talking about Launch 21, right? What are you going to do in 2021 to launch and keep launching your business and go further? And, here we had a bunch of quote unquote experts who are successful in their businesses and they're doing whatever they're doing. And everybody had like this unique insight into 2021 and how they're going to operate. And there was probably like 50 or 60 people in that room. Actually, I think Dave, you might've been in the audience too. There was like 50 or 60 people in the room. A few of them came up and asked questions, and I just saw that it was such a helpful room. Nobody was pitching, right? Nobody's out there trying to like sell whatever they do. Everybody was just there to be of service. And boom, what happens, right? Like I get off of this Clubhouse, which was, again, a middle of the day random room that I jumped into, and 3 people reach out to me privately through Instagram. They PM me, and I have Zoom meetings with all 3 of them this week. Interested in my services, but hey, my whole thing was like, look, you're interested in my services. That's amazing. But if I could just help you even with a conversation, that would be great as well. Whatever I could do to be of service. Same thing last Saturday. I hopped into a TED room, about becoming a TED speaker and how important it is. And it was just great to be in there helping people. And sure enough, I wound up having like 4 calls from that room for potential clients, And so I guess this is a testament to getting back to the fundamentals, even though this, like, Clubhouse is as far as from fundamental as you could possibly get, because it's another piece of technology. It's an app, and it's another social place that brings all people from all over the world together. But in a way, there's no keyboard tough guys here. There's there's none of that. It's like, it's a real voice, right? You're hearing somebody for real, and you can sort of, I guess, decipher, when you're speaking to somebody and hearing their voice, what they're about, whether they're authentic, whether you want to do business with somebody like that, and, and move forward. So really, just like, this struck me enough where I wanted to do this unique episode today. I wish we had some more people hopping on. Oh, Iffat just hopped in. I'm going to invite her up to speak for a minute. But yeah, that's my feelings, guys, on what this platform has become. It's pretty cool.
I know, George, just to add to that, I think, like you said, it's a lot more genuine. It's a lot more, you can sense from somebody's voice when somebody gets up in there, whether they're struggling in their business, whether they are out of ideas, they're looking for that motivation. And it's so many people are just coming together to help add that value, come up with ideas. I'm in a unique industry of travel, which I might not be able to necessarily help somebody who's in the credit lending business, but I think maybe just a little motivation, a little bit of just encouragement, and hearing it versus seeing it in a text message or in an email is just so. I guess it strikes your brain just a little differently, and I think that's why people are becoming so enthusiastic in these rooms, and so incredible how motivating it really has become. Even for me, like you said, you're on in the middle of the afternoon. I have my AirPods in most of the day, and whether I'm getting pinged into a room or and like you said, some of the rooms that are just full of fake people, but then there's so many big names out there that are there to genuinely want to help.
Yeah,
and it's really so incredible.
Yeah. I want to introduce Iffat that just walked into whatever you floated in virtually into our room, Iffat. So we met. We've been in a couple of rooms together, I believe, throughout this last week or two. Probably met in Gary Dougherty's TEDx room originally, and we wound up having an outside of Clubhouse connection after the fact. And this was just a conversation from one professional to another. Iffat's looking to do some stuff in her hometown that is really, really cool. And she saw me as an expert that could give her some advisement, and we had a great call, and that was it. Just two professionals helping each other out. So welcome, Iffat.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Lovely. It's refreshing to get out of all those rooms who are all trying to speak about what will happen when Elon Musk is live on Clubhouse.
Right? Matty was just talking about that a minute ago. If you didn't see in the description of the room, and you hear that I have a little bit of a different voice on today, this is actually right now as we speak an episode of my podcast, the Launchcast. We came on here and we're recording a full Clubhouse room to give people an idea of leadership in 2021 and what that means with all these virtual platforms that are out there. So I just wanted to let you know this is live episode 205 being recorded right now. And I just want to get your permission, to be able to record you.
Well, George, thanks for the heads up. I think it's a bit late for that.
Well, sorry.
You.
We're not.
Lovely.
We're live recording. We're live recording, but this will get edited. The podcast won't come out until tomorrow. So a little late, right?
You're wonderful to join. Yes.
So tell us a little bit, Iffat, about your experience here. We're talking about leadership on Clubhouse, how this platform has been beneficial to you. I was trying to figure out what attracted me to doing this episode was to do something different, that's never been done, and do the simulcast of a podcast in a Clubhouse room. But at the same time, I didn't want it to be a commercial for Clubhouse. I just wanted it to be more of a commercial for getting out there and standing up in 2021 and the different ways that you can do that. So how has Clubhouse done that for you?
I have to say it has been an amazing experience. Like I'm a super connector in real life. I love building communities and I love connecting with people. And I can say I have a massive network in the nonprofit world internationally. But what Clubhouse has done, networking on a whole different level. It's been so amazing. Like you and I spoke about TEDx events, organizing TEDx events in small towns, for example. And I think if it wasn't for Clubhouse, we would have never connected. And similarly, I've met so many amazing people here from different corners of the world. I run digital skills program for women specifically, and you would not believe that. I think 4 days ago, I met a woman from the U.S. I forgot which area she was from, but she told me it was like really literally in the middle of nowhere. And she invited me to give her women, 3,000 of them, a training on what I was doing in Europe and Asia. So it was just amazing. My mind was officially blown. I was just so pleasantly surprised and in awe of what this platform is doing for, people like me who want to connect with like-minded people or, get in touch with new people and gain new insights and new learnings and new experiences. So for me, I would say I can definitely recommend also the format it's in. it just makes it so easy to just communicate, fast.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I have all good things to say about Clubhouse.
Yeah, I totally agree. Great connections, and the fact that we could take these relationships offline and just help each other as professionals. I think, I don't know, I guess that's really what I want 2021 to be about, right? I look back at, the year of the pandemic, which is of course still going on into 2021. So we're not going to get back to quote unquote normal for quite a long time. But it's sort of in line with a room that I was in yesterday where we're speaking about how people are launching in 2021. And, I found it this year, and everything that is at our fingertips this year really gives us an opportunity to test our mettle as leaders, right? Last year was about really just learning about ourselves and what it's tough to explain this, but really what works about ourselves authentically, right? So for business owners out there and people that are selling for a living and trying to build their businesses and develop their businesses, you had to get creative last year. You couldn't do it the way that you used to do it. And so I think people had this opportunity to really focus on themselves, their brands, what they actually represent, and really get down to the nitty gritty. And then once they sort of discover that, being able to now authentically showcase that in different ways to people, right? You're on, I know my Zoom meetings far exceeded the amount of face-to-face meetings I ever would have had in that year, right? After everything sort of started normalizing, not normalizing, but getting to a point where the Zoom and remote work was more normal towards late spring. I had more Zoom meetings than I would have had in-person meetings for sure, 1,000%. And so I was out there just showcasing and really getting into this rhythm of understanding who I was as a professional and being able to showcase that through these mediums. And so now 2021 is like, all right, we've been doing this. We tested this out in 2020. Let's see if we can sustain and keep growing in this way. So that's why I love stuff like this. And I'm always going to be out there, trying to discover platforms like Clubhouse and different ways to connect with people. I love that you use the term super connector, Iffat. That's exactly what I am, super connector. I love building these relationships and, whether it turns into a business relationship or something where I could just be of service to somebody, that's what it's about,
Well, thank you. And I think I also like the feature that Clubhouse has is that you get to use your same Twitter handle or your Instagram. You don't have to create another way for people to connect with you. People can just, connect with you on your existing social media platforms, and you really don't have to worry about anything. But I also noticed how open people are on this platform. Like some people are just, adding their emails to their profiles or LinkedIn profiles. It's just so open. I'm just really amazed at how this community is structuring itself and how open people are in their profiles and in their descriptions.
Yeah. Same here. I don't want to take up too much of everybody's time. I wanted to do a brief taste of Clubhouse here on the podcast. Those that are watching this when it goes live on Monday, if you're watching the YouTube video, you see that I've done a picture-in-picture with my iPhone screen right on here, and so you could see the user interface of Clubhouse, how it works. You check out Iffat, Matty K, David. What I'm going to do is, guys, all three of you, if you can, Matty K and David have my personal info, but Iffat, go to my profile and find me on any other platform, and just shoot me a DM with some information in terms of what you'd like for me to share on the show notes. I'll put information in the show notes of the podcast so people can connect with you on a business level if that's what you seek. But I want to give everybody one final opportunity for any kind of closing statement, anything you want to say. That's what this thing was about, and so I'm glad that we had this nice cozy little 4-person room. I opened it up and I pinged just a few people because I didn't want some massive 100-person room, because we never would have gotten out of here tonight. And there's more podcasts after we sign off of Clubhouse. We're going to be talking about quite a few things, namely going to be doing an obit for Mr. Frank Shankowitz, who we lost last week, the founder of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So we'll get to that after we log off of here. But let me start with David. Dave, any closing words for us before we close out here?
No, I thought this was great. Just getting to know people, and I hadn't met Iffat, so I already pinged her, and I think that's the way to go. It's these nice small rooms. So thanks a lot, George, for inviting me, and always looking to help out.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And guys, catch. Short. I'm going to put this out into the universe, David, because we know it's happening. You guys who are watching on the screen see David's profile picture. It says TEDx back there. We are waiting for approval, but Dave's TEDx talk is going to be coming out very soon, in days or weeks. So keep an eye out for that. It's TEDxFarmingdale talk. Great talk. So thanks, Dave. Matty, any closing words?
There we go. I had the mute button was frozen there for a second. George, same thing as Dave said. This is great to have the opportunity to jump in here with you to see how you incorporated Clubhouse into your podcast. I think Clubhouse in itself is just a great platform to connect. You can hear our voices. I think it's a little bit of that human connection, as you said, that we've been missing for the past year during this pandemic. And it's great. It's great to hear your voice. It's great to hear Dave's voice. It's nice to meet you, and just anybody that you get to see in these rooms or hear in these rooms. It brings that personal connection, and I think it's really going to help 2021 as we pivot to the new world we're living in, and hopefully things get better. And George, this has been great, and I hope that we can do this a whole lot more.
Yeah, and I appreciate it, Matty. I think, as the audience builds, right, I just got started getting connected with people these last, 7 to 10 days, in all honesty. And so as the followership grows, I think I'm going to wind up making this a weekly thing, and we could actually turn this into a segment on each weekly show, which I'm excited about. So hopefully this goes well for that. But guys, check out Matty K, Matthew Kondrup. It's the Matty K Travel Group, Castle Vacations, the whole deal. We'll have all of his links in the show notes. Phenomenal travel agent. Phenomenal travel agent who does personal stuff. He does corporate stuff. Any businesses out there who are looking to get hooked up with a personable travel expedite. I don't even want to say travel agency, because from a corporate perspective, you're looking for travel expediters that can not only help to book travel for executives once things start opening up a little bit more, but also as part of an event planning group. He does everything. Reach out to him. I'll have all his stuff in the show notes. So thank you, Matty. Iffat, any closing words from you?
No, I think I look forward to the podcast, and thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'll have Iffat's stuff in the show notes as well, whatever she chooses to share. I'm just getting to know Iffat and what she does. We had an amazing conversation the other day about her potentially doing a TEDx with a group. And so we're going to be looking out for that, and I'll keep everybody updated on that stuff. So I'm going to close out the Clubhouse room and continue the podcast now. So I'm taking down this screen share. Thank you guys for joining me. I'm going to sign out now.
Have a great night, George.
You too, man. All right. That was so cool. This episode is sponsored by the new cohort of the Leadership Experience. Unconventional leadership brought to you by yours truly, the LaunchDad himself, George Andriopoulos. Our new cohort is starting soon, and not only do we still have the same 4 courses, that's right, the public thought leadership track, the career leader track, the entrepreneurship track, and of course the podcast experience. We have our first graduate level, up level, inimitable, the newest one-on-one leadership class. This is for not only if you have taken the leadership experience core class before and are ready to graduate to the newest level, but for those that have experienced leadership and want to take it to a new level, Inimitable is for you. I'm not even going to talk about it in this commercial. You're going to have to contact me. Check out theleadershipexp.com for details and to sign up for information. Inimitable is coming at you. DM me for more info. Later, guys. That was so cool. So that's Clubhouse, right? So check out the video if you haven't gotten a chance to watch the video yet. Just so you can actually see what the user interface looks like and stuff. I invited just a few people, just to get some bodies in the room and have a conversation that was manageable right now, right? So, Clubhouse 2021. What is this, right? Social media. If you asked me 10 to maybe not 10 years ago, maybe 13, 14 years ago, 15 years ago, I was like trying to put photos and videos and songs on my MySpace, and it looked like garbage. And then fast forward through Facebook and Twitter and Instagram and LinkedIn and Snapchat and IG and just everything that has been out there. And look, we've evolved into a place where your voice matters again. Maybe that's what 2020 did for us, right? Maybe 2020 put us in a place where we were tired of just being behind a keyboard. I know I got keyboard fatigue big time last year. And so hearing people's voices in these settings is really refreshing. Think about like Facebook, right? Think about people you went to high school with that you're connected to on Facebook. And in reality, when was the last time you've spoken to a person like that, right? I have people on there that I'm friends with on Facebook, but I literally have not seen their faces or heard their voices in almost 25 years, right? That's crazy. But if there was a platform like this for my friends where we could actually just hop on real quick. Oh, I think I just invented that. It's called a telephone, right? That's so weird. No, but if there was a platform where I could hop on with my friends like this and get everybody in a room and just have a conversation for a half hour, 40 minutes, like that's amazing, right? And so this is on a different level, on a professional level. You're just meeting new people, networking. So it's cool. Again, this isn't sponsored by Clubhouse. This has nothing to do with them. I just thought this was an amazing tool that I would like to share with you guys. We actually didn't have, this isn't one of those weeks where I'm like, well, on my soapbox canceling a guest because I have something to say. This is a week where we didn't have a guest scheduled. And so I came up with this idea to just go through with this Clubhouse thing and have some cool conversations and, see where it goes. Right. So, next order of business, segments. Look at me. I'm growing. I'm evolving. Look at me. We have segments now. We don't just have one single interview, although we'll go back to the one single interview. But anyway, let me get a little more serious now. I wanted to do a quick obit for Frank Shankowitz, who we lost last week. Frank Shankowitz was a guest here on the Launchcast. And I was so lucky to have been introduced to Frank. Frank is the founder. We'll say co-founder here, but in reality, it was his idea and his vision here. But he's the founder of Make-A-Wish Foundation. All right, we all know Make-A-Wish. It's an incredible foundation. Let me do a quick bio. So Frank, a former Arizona Highway Patrol officer turned wish man. Frank Shankowitz granted the wish of a 7-year-old boy with leukemia who wanted to be a highway patrol officer. The rest is history. Frank has spent most of his adult life seeking to fulfill the dreams of others, no matter how big or small. Frank has changed the lives of thousands of people through his generosity, grit, and belief in the human spirit. His work has been honored by prestigious universities, countless media outlets, big-name corporations, and even the President of the United States, former presidents of the United States. So Frank's story is incredible. He literally came from nothing. Crazy story in terms of home life. Instead of telling it, because I think he would want this, and I'm sure his wife Kitty would want this as well. Go on Netflix and watch a movie called Wishman. Wishman is Frank's life story. It is not the story of the Make-A-Wish Foundation. It is Frank Shankowitz's life story, and it is so incredible. So incredible. Through just a series of events as a child with mom and dad and tumultuous situations, Frank eventually found himself as a highway patrol officer, the job that gave Frank's life meaning. And after a massive accident where Frank literally died, he went through a period where emotionally he had to really, really recover from a lot of stuff. And during that time, he was asked by the precinct, I don't even know what you call it, where he was with the highway patrolman, to be a sort of a liaison to this dying child who was dying of leukemia and whose one wish was to be a highway patrol officer. And back then, the TV show Chips was huge, Eric Estrada, and this kid was like obsessed. And so Frank did it, and the rest, as they say, is history. He developed a really close relationship with this boy over a short period of time. And the boy actually passed away shortly thereafter, but Frank and his partner were asked to, I think he was back in Chicago. They gave him a full police officer's funeral, buried in, the Arizona Highway Patrolman uniform. Got his, I don't even know what they call them, wings or something like that. You have to watch the movie to check it out. There was some kind of pin that he was given to make him official, but he was like deputized almost, right? And this had a profound effect on Frank's life, and he came up with this idea for the Make-A-Wish Foundation, and Frank and Kitty and a whole bunch of other people launched it. And when Frank knew that this thing had legs and he was not the man to run it, he handed it off to people that, as he would say, are smarter than him and were able to run an organization. And Make-A-Wish became what it is today. I don't even know how many wishes have been granted. You know what? I might actually know this. Let me look in my notes here. I'm looking back to my my notes from my interview with Frank, which, by the way, if you get a chance, go back and find that episode. I'll have the episode number in the show notes as well, and a link to it so you can go back and listen. You know what? While I do that, I'm actually going to play you a quick clip right here of that episode. So take a listen to this.
The Launchcast reboots.
So after Chris was buried, and you flew back to Arizona and you came up with this concept, I read somewhere that when Chris had said to you, "I wish I could be a motorcycle officer," that was really the first time that you acknowledged the power of the word wish, right?
Well, that's the first time I heard the word wish from that little boy. And he just kind of stuck back in there, and that he had a wish. And that's why when coming home, I started thinking about, he had a wish that would made it happen. Why can't we do that for other children?
Yeah.
Make a wish, it will make it happen.
This is something that's important to me. I've read a couple of interviews. I've watched and listened to a few interviews that you've been part of, and you mentioned specifically how that plane ride, that's where the idea for Make-A-Wish was born. Can you get into that a little further? I'm so curious as to how that process went for you.
And all of a sudden, we're with Chris interacting so much. And what a neat little kid that loves motorcycles, right? I mean, we bonded immediately. But all of a sudden, that there might be this program where we could help these kids. And when we started the Make-A-Wish Foundation for children with terminal illnesses, leukemia was the death sentence. These children did not survive. Very fortunately, about 25 years ago, they changed the mission with children with life-threatening illnesses, because through the grace of God and modern medicine, more and more of these children are surviving these cancers and so on. But all of a sudden, it just gives some joy to children instead of just seeing them die, holding it in your arms all this time. all these years, give some joy to these children. And that's what the drive, and even the thought process, oh, it's not going to happen. It's like Juan has tapped me on the side of the head. Frank, turn that negative to the positive, make it work. But again, just to give back somehow to these kids.
Yeah, so that's Frank Shankowitz, man. That's what this dude was about. Man, so many accomplishments, 2 honorary doctorates, star on the Vegas Walk of Fame, 2 stars down from Elvis Presley. I was introduced to Frank by Greg Reed, author of 3 Feet from Gold and all these incredible books. Speaker extraordinaire. Greg and I developed a friendship, and then Greg said, you got to have Frank on the show. He'll be incredible on the show. And so called Frank, had a great conversation with him. Very honest conversation, honestly, an emotional one for me. Those that know my story here, and I talk about Shannon, my sister-in-law that passed away before she was my sister-in-law. I talk about her all the time. Frank founded an organization that gave Shannon, when she was dying, that gave her a wish. Frank, Shannon was granted a wish by the Make-A-Wish Foundation. Her and the entire family were flown to Taiwan for one last hurrah. Couple of months before she passed, they got to do New Year's in Taiwan, big celebration, incredible hotels, and so they got to see family that they hadn't seen in years, and so Make-A-Wish, along with a few other nonprofits, but Make-A-Wish holds such a special place in my heart because of that, because they granted this wish to somebody who was so close to me. And so, it's all because of Frank, and I'm talking about Shannon, but man, there have been, again, I can't find this number in my notes, but tons and tons and tons and tons. I can't even imagine who greeted Frank at the pearly gates, as they say, when he went out there. Had to be thousands of souls that whose last memory, one of their last memories, was a wish that Frank was able to grant for them, and Frank in that organization. And so he became an ambassador in 1983, wish ambassador, and fulfilled a ton of wishes on his own after he wasn't even running the organization anymore, and so had some health stuff towards the end of his life, but man, was he active. This dude was still speaking and had his book and the Wishman movie on Netflix. We're going to miss him. Incredible guy, incredible guy that when you think about it, what would the world be without Make-A-Wish, right? He changed the lives of so many, not only kids, but their families. To be able to cope with the loss of somebody, the grief that goes with that, is so tough. But to know that they got this wish before they moved on, that's a big deal, right? So we're sending prayers up to that cowboy. We'll miss you, buddy. Adios. Better pastures ahead. We know it. Guys, I had fun today. This was different. I'm sad right now because we're talking about Frank. I was very upset when I had heard about this, and I have a small circle of friends and colleagues that actually knew Frank as well. And so, but we're going to celebrate his life and try and move past this. It's been an incredible episode. I had so much fun doing this Clubhouse thing with you guys. Hopefully we could do that more. I'd love to make this a segment on the show every once in a while, that we could share some Clubhouse leadership and move on from there. But man, next week, check out. Oh, we got a good one next week. Come back. But first, listen to this one, right? Listen, share. We're going live 6 a.m. every single Monday morning. You know how we do on the Launchcast. Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all the places. Amazon Music, Google Podcast, I don't even know, YouTube. Just listen somewhere, please. Thank you. Let's go. See you next week, guys.
Into the black hole.
Thanks for listening to the Launchcast today. Please make sure to subscribe to this feed wherever podcasts are available. Follow me, George Andriopoulos, at LaunchPad CEO. on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. And make sure to visit our website, guys, thelaunchcast.com. Looking forward to the next episode. See you soon, guys.